Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Just came to prepare this just to share a few things. I don't know Dr. Sfanya, so in Cape Town, I think Clive is the man that will walk you through the paces. But I've just got some little aliquots of information that I gleaned from doing this Gezia thing. So then obviously we have done the reading, but I suppose we need now to go to acquire wisdom. Yeah. So basically the exam basically tests your psychomotor skills, which will be your last two, suture 2, hysteroscopy, and then the multiple choice test 2, which has got about 50 multiple choice questions. So starting, this is for me the big thing. Because everything is timed. You can see in the left-hand corner, there is the timed, the timer. And then there are the blocks that they slot in there. And then you can go 6 KT and KC. So since all this is timed, all you need is to break it all down to say, because so that you don't panic, you just need to calm down. And then how do I do this? If I go here, for example, the problem is when you put in the pins into those, the green and the yellow, they've got a tendency to fall out, and then they only count the ones that remain inside. And then the ones on the holes there that you put in there, that's not a major issue. But I always find that those pins always fall out. So it's either you bring, like at 6 o'clock, you just bring the colored part down onto the corner at the edge here, or with either the pin hanging out or down, but you have the edge of the thing holding onto the circle. I don't know whether it make sense, but let me just go through this again. So basically, they will be what will be tested. I think if you go to I just got this from the Gezia website. This is what they will really be testing to thing, and putting in the pins. And then the other one is those dreaded by manual coordination. We've got the forceps in one hand and you hold the thing. So you need to hold the colored part, but it's how you put it in there, because you get penalized if it falls out. So until you can get it, you just need to then position it in such a way that you put the colored part first into the hole and let the pin either point up into the hole or fall slightly outside, so it grabs with the on the edge of the thing. So the other one was the one for camera navigation. This is my analysis of it all. If you look, the front part where I wrote 9 and 3, because you're using a 30-degree lens. So these positions, if you're looking like the clock face facing you. So if you want to look at the top, like the number 6K, because it must be in the center of the circle. TN must be in the center of the circle, and KC must also be in the center. The thing is just, this is the position. You're not supposed to move the camera. You just hold the cable. So for those ones there, you should look, the cable should be at 12 o'clock. The ones at the bottom where I wrote 9, for you to see those ones, the cable should be at 9 o'clock. And on the other side as well, for you to see that quickly, the cable should be at 3 o'clock position, which is on your right-hand side. And 9 o'clock is your left-hand side. So, and then the other face there, for you to see it quickly, your cable must be at on your left-hand side. So these are the 3 positions that you need to hold your camera cable. without you having to force the whole instrument. All you need is move, is a 30-degree angle. Just swing the cable this way, swing to that one. So you can quickly, if you don't know where you are looking, where the number is, you can quickly scan by just quickly moving the cable, not the instrument, just moving the cable only. Then that's the little thing that I came up with to say, this is how easily you can actually quickly, rapidly going backwards and forwards. And then once you can master this is all you need to remember. Then you should be able to get all the numbers and you should finish the whole test. So that's also the sort of the schematic. So those ones in front will be 12 o'clock, 9, 3, 9, 3. So that's how you just do your camera navigation to see the numbers. Then you won't obviously be frustrated. So you definitely don't panic and you just finish on time. And then the suturing. Obviously, the pad, it goes, your suture should go in on the red dot and come out exactly in the center of the black dot. And also the other thing, which is also they mark you on, is trauma to the tissue. They also mark you on where is your camera. So your assistant will be holding the camera for you as you suture. So they will also be marked to say where was the cable in relationship to where you are operating. So Dr. Shava assured me that you guys are prolific laparoscopic, prolific in terms of laparoscopic suturing. So I shouldn't dwell too much on this. But basically, it's just relax. The whole thing is introducing the needle, positioning the needle. Your entry should be, so you supinate your hand like this and just let it glide in. And you're allowed to hold away the exit point. So, but as you enter, the entry should be through the red point and it should come out through the black dot right in the center. You're allowed to adjust as it is going through so that it exits exactly where the black point is, because you also get marked if you are not in the spot. And then the Greek suture, so that is a sort of zigzag thing. And then how to push the sutures through the right hand, with your right hand and the left hand. I think this Clive would walk you through it. But for me, the only thing that I would say is just relax, breathe, because the main thing is to position the needle. 2/3 in front, 1/3 at the back. That's where you put your needle holder. And try and adjust it so that at least it's at 90 degrees to the needle holder. And then just relax and just take a gentle curve, just sweep like that, gently like that. Goes in, out, change there, go this way, go that way, and then you will be done. But don't stress, just take your time. And then the other thing is that you should have this knot tying. I'm not sure, I couldn't find what this one is, but originally you should put sutures 4 from this side to that side to this side to that side, and then you should then tie 1. So because this suture length is predetermined, rather cut it, pull so that at least very little of it is used before. So because at the end you will need to tie the knot. So don't sell yourself short by using too much suture before the knot tying. You can choose when to, if you want to start with knot tying, start with knot tying. Then you put the other 3. So that's this one there. And then the one that I wanted to make go this way. Yes. So that's the circle that Luis Fernandez was showing us. So basically the thing is that if you look if you're going from to 7, you use your right hand, isn't it? And you go from inside to outside. And if you go to 8, like you're going from inside to out, then you will probably use a left hand back floor, a backhand, left hand, backhand. A 1, how would you then do a 1? Which hand? Right, left? So that's the whole thing. So with number 1, I think I'll go through it again. But with number 1, the thing is that you will probably want to change one of your pots. But apparently, once you have committed to the pots, you can't change. So with 1, you either move the tissue or put an extra pot. And then it also goes to this one here. This is what Dr. Shawa was talking about. At 6 o'clock, there will be 2. So they make a small cut at the back, at the bottom, and there are 2 holes. So the way you approach it is there are 2 ways. You can just, as you go through the first hole, hold the pad, lift it slightly, and introduce your needle. Come out, then lift again, and then introduce the needle so that it actually comes out through the second circle. The way I did it is I practice, is I make sure that I come in perpendicularly, 90 degrees. Then my needle is horizontal. I make sure that it's flat. And then just by just holding it, like just following the curve, you can even use your fingers just to glide it in like that. But everything should be at 90 degrees. Then without touching the tissue, you can actually put in the suture there. As long as it's horizontal, the suture is horizontal, and the needle holder, it comes in perpendicularly. So the angle between the needle and the needle holder is 90 degrees. Then you can glide it in. But you're allowed to hold the tissue up. But then also comes in the other question that any tissue trauma is also, they also penalize it. Because once you have finished with this pad, it all goes there to be marked to say, was it correct placement and was there any tissue trauma involved? So basically, this is the will to say, like for number 7, you can use your right hand. 8, you can't use your right hand. You have to use the backhand left. Right, number 1 is you have to either lift the tissue. And 2, you can use the right backhand. And 3, you can also use backhand like that. So basically, this is where you need to think to say beforehand, like here, how are you going to suture? You need to decide which hand are you going to for each one of those positions. So 1 is at 12 o'clock, and then it's all segmented up to 8. And then you need to go through this and then decide, okay, which hand am I going to use? Moving from 0 to 1, 0 will be the center, you know. So you need to, it must be, this is the whole essence of the suturing, to say, in your mind, it should be clear which hand to use. And then this is the hysteroscopy, and then obviously in there is where they'll assemble it for you. And then if you look on this lower part there, is you need to have your needle, your cable at 12 o'clock position, almost constantly. So with one hand, you should be holding the cable and the camera. And then so basically this is just camera navigation. same thing again. Let me show you, come here. No. So basically this is the whole principle. So you are using a 30-degree lens. So if you want to look down, so they'll be able to say fundus, then right conua, left conua, or isthmus. So, anterior or posterior isthmus. So if you want to look down with a 30-degree angle, because it's a forward oblique angle, you should have your cable at the top. If you want to look up like this, if you want to look at the top anterior wall, your cable is at 6 o'clock position. So that's the whole essence of saying, when you are looking at this is my own synthesis of the whole problem, to say, if you are looking into the cavity, so if you want to look up, right, your cable should be at 6 o'clock. If you want to look down, your cable should be at 12 o'clock. If you want to look on the right side, your cable should be on your left side. If you want to look on the left side, your cable should be on the right side. So 3 o'clock is your right hand, 9 o'clock is your left hand, or the left side, and then 6 o'clock is when the cable is down, 12 o'clock is when the cable is up. So basically, that's, for me, those are the tricks that will save you time. And because then what happens is that once they start calling and you start panicking, you can't see properly. At the end of the day, is that then all you need is that to know where do they want you to go, and then you quickly move in those positions. So you will be able to see the whole cavity like this. Because like there, they say, okay, they want the 4 in the center of your image. And then you should be rapidly move. If you can't find it, but you should rapidly move until you find it. So this is basically identifying the target. And then the other one is obviously where you have to go in and then get those objects, the normally colored pins that you have. So unlike the part 1, in part 2, you go as a unit. You identify it once they call it out to you to say right corner end, left corner end. So you go with your camera in with your instrument. And then the other thing, that trick that Clive taught me, your grasper, the handle should be at 12 o'clock, looking up, so that it doesn't clash with the camera underneath. So you keep the handle up in the sky, and then you put your fingers in and grab like that. But when you move as one unit. You grab, and then differently from the part 1, this time you must grab it. You don't drop it inside. You must take it out of the uterus and then go again in. That's the difference. With the part 1, I think you just used to drop it inside the womb. But this one, you must go in, grab it, and take it out. That's the same thing about that thing. So there is a grasper, and then you basically move together. So basically, that is the whole thing is in the cable in terms of hysteroscopy. That's the summary of this. So those 2 pictures, the one that I drew before and these ones, that's where your cable should be. And then this test will be very quick for you. So it's basically all about technique. And, like I was looking at the whole thing about jumping. I remember, I don't know how many of us still remember the scissors, the Western roll, the straddle. And then this guy in Forsberg came in 1968. He didn't even make it in the team because he couldn't do the top 3. But he decided, no, why can't I go backwards? And now the Forsberg flop is all the Olympic athletes are now doing that. But obviously it was awkward, so maybe hopefully he will innovate and make this whole thing. So it was just trying to find, my attempt was to be like, make it simple so that you don't have to think, because unfortunately some of this you are never taught. You have to figure it out yourself. No one seems to think. So above all, just chill. And then one of the things that unfortunately I'm just overdoing it, is a book by my uncle, The Chosen Generation. And my view is, unfortunately, you are the chosen generation to bring laparoscopy forward. That's your duty. Obviously, during our time, there was no laparoscopy, but you are the ones who have the mentor to make sure that laparoscopy is available in every district hospital in the country. And this is Dr. Shava doing some chill time, downtime. Thank you so much. So these are some of the references.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Vuma. Any questions from I'm sure our candidates have got lots of questions to ask. And you must remember this, the presentation, as long as it's not practical, some of the things that I think Dr. Vuma was talking about, they may look very confusing because it's not, but once you actually get to understand the practice, then it will be much, much more important. It will be very, very easy. And the things about saving time, because time is of essence. It really is very important, and you need to actually understand especially the principle of knowing your positions 3, 9, 6, and 12. And for some of you who really understand, who really want to simplify it, you go and check Tesla's best digits, and he will also explain it very nicely that everything will be summarized into those different best digit 3, 6, 9, and 12. Any questions? Good evening, Dr. Marere.
Good evening, Dr. Shava. Sorry, joined later at an emergency.
We were just talking about the tips for the second part, since they are writing next week.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I hope that you repeat when it's time for us to go as well. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Dr. Sifanyetso, what are your comments?
Sorry, hello, good evening. I was struggling to unmute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think for me, the thanks to Dr. Vuma for the tips, but the training in Cape Town is very important to attend before the certification, and I found spending time in that lab very helpful. And you know, if there's a struggle, it's important to spend, you know, a day or two before the certification practicing. And I think the more, like you say, the more you get time to practice that suturing, the easier it becomes. I was fortunate that some of those some of the you know, the suturing techniques, or that is it the Greek suture, you know, if you've done myomectomy, and you put in that baseball suture, you know, it's exactly what the you know, the training or what's expected at the certification. But hello. But yeah, yeah, but it's you know, those are very helpful tips. But you know, like I said, if you have not trained, it might still be difficult. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sifanyetso.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vuma, for the nice tips. Yeah, I think understanding the principle of where the light post is in relationship to where the instrument is going is very important. it's exactly the opposite of where the light post is. That's where our camera will be looking at. So those are the principles that I feel very important for the navigation to be easy during the certification and even during the actual practice. Switching is a bit tricky, especially when you consider the use of the left or the non-dominant hand. I think that for us requires a bit of training. And I agree, from the first certification, I realized it's really important to have gone for the dry lab before actually taking the exam. That practice really makes life easy during the exam. Thank you.
I agree with you. I mean, I remember when we went and spent some time with Clive. We spent an extra weekend, and then obviously when you're in a group, it's a bit crowded. But when he spends time one-on-one, he managed to iron out some of our deficiencies. And when we took the certification, I mean, it was relatively easy. It was straightforward because you had done it before. So they could, people could tell the difference, who has actually practiced and who hasn't. And I think that's, for me, I also encourage that we just spend time in the lab, and then the rest will be easy.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Because one of the things that, like what Dr. Sphagis was talking about, if you are doing the baseball stitch, is the way your needle and suture management, passing it from this hand, go to the other one, you turn the needle this way, you turn this needle this way, then definitely you need that dexterity, to be ambidextrous, to be able to use both hands flawlessly. And definitely it requires effort on your part. And as he says that, I think maybe you need to deliberately, in your actual practice, you say, let me do the baseball stitch in all the myomectomies. Then your left hand will also eventually catch up. And one of the things that I also realize is that sometimes just do it. Don't think, because the moment you start thinking, everything goes wrong. So just start doing, because once you start analyzing each movement, then that's when you actually end up getting lost. Yeah, that's one of my little things that I discovered.
Dr. Gwanzura is still, I think she's still held up. And I think we can, I think in the absence of further comments or questions, I think we can probably have an early day today, unless if there is something that the other winners would want us to discuss.
That's okay, Dr. Shawa. Thank you. I think maybe we can do it, the Kwanzura's presentation, we can have it next week then.
Yeah, we can have it next week. Yeah, so I think that at this point, I think we can call it a day, and the meeting is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.